Now, News 4's Weather Extra with meteorologist Ryan Duggar.
Welcome into Weather Extra. David is still out at the moment, but I'm holding the fort for Weather Extra until he returns tomorrow. And I actually was thinking about, we've had these temperatures in the 90s over the past several days, and that humidity making things feel pretty hot. So has May been running warmer than normal, or have we been seeing those high temperatures sticking around more normal values? I actually asked meteorologist Zach Webster to dig into more.
We've seen a really good mixture of above normal temperatures, below normal temperatures, and temperatures pretty close to normal so far as we've moved throughout the month of May. The start of the month started out a little warmer than normal with those temperatures in the middle to upper 80s, and recently we've seen those temperatures in the upper 80s and lower to middle 90s, as occasionally been just a little bit above normal. But right along with that, we've seen several days with below normal highs. How about 77 back on the 3rd, 79 on the 4th, how about 71 degrees back on May 11th. We've seen several different rounds of very beneficial rainfall that's helped to keep those temperatures a little bit cooler than normal for several days. The average high temperatures that we've seen so far throughout the month of May is 84.4 degrees. That is a little bit under the normal average high temperature for so far this month. That is close to 86 degrees, and it looks like we'll continue to keep those numbers pretty close to or just above normal for the next several days.
Wow, so even with more of these days in the 90s like we've seen for this past weekend, we're running a little bit cooler than normal for May, but I know it doesn't feel like it, especially this afternoon as you stepped outside. Temperatures were able to cross into the lower 90s yet again for much of the Wiregrass. 91 today in Dothan, 93 in Ozark, 92 in Enterprise. A little bit cooler farther to the south where onshore flow pumps in some more of that moisture. That helps keeps things cool in the Panhandle, but this is likely where we'll see the hot and humid stretch kind of put on pause before much drier air makes its way into the Wiregrass. And we'll actually see that front pass through along with those few showers and thunderstorms that we're tracking farther off to the north. By Thursday morning, we can see more widespread lows in the 60s for much of the southeast. We could likely be around the lower to middle 60s for Thursday morning. And the most noticeable cool air, or excuse me, before I jump to the gun on that actually, for temperatures even on Thursday after that dry air passes through, we could still see highs around the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. So even though those values still run hot, we'll still be a little bit more comfortable being outside, especially with this dry air that makes its way in. But that cooler air will try to punch in for later on into Saturday. This could take lows down to the lower 60s. I'm not ruling out also maybe a couple places to the north, even in the upper 50s as we're waking up for Saturday morning. But by the end of Memorial Day weekend, we'll likely see that warmth and humidity bounce back. We could be towards the lower 90s for Memorial Day. And then into the week, though, this is where we'll see a little bit of a change. Check this out. For Thursday of next week, we can see more of those temperatures spread throughout the Mid-South, maybe even in the 70s, while we're in the 80s, much cooler than normal, especially as we get closer to June. And the culprit is actually a trough that could make its way down into the southeast yet again, helping things make things a little bit cooler as well. And so that also aligns with what the Climate Prediction Center has also been showing. We could be around 40% cooler than normal, actually 50% cooler than normal as we get closer to the start of June. So that's going to be very noticeable, and we'll continue fine-tuning those temperatures as we get closer to that date. But of course, showers and thunderstorms are on our radar for tomorrow morning. When we get back, we're going to take a look at the severe weather parameters that could be in place as they enter our area. Stay tuned.
And now, News 4's Weather Extra.
Welcome back to Weather Extra. It was a very quiet Tuesday for us, but for our neighbors to the north, it definitely wasn't, as we saw showers and thunderstorms making their way through North Alabama, even likely some confirmed tornadoes that touched down around the Huntsville area. And so those showers and thunderstorms will be making their way south overnight. And I was curious to see what kind of severe weather parameters that we would see into tomorrow morning. And so starting off with this graphic where we usually look for the significant tornado parameter along with a low-level jet, Nowhere in sight. Likely more of those upper level winds farther off to the north, but what we can likely see for tomorrow morning is some areas where we have some good energy that could be in place, really for the southernmost part of Alabama into the Florida Panhandle. And so we could have that in place, and that could help maybe a strong storm or two as they are making their way in. But it does depend on how unified that line of showers and thunderstorms is going to be as it makes its way in. So there could be some showers and thunderstorms for some while others remain dry. And again, the strength of them is really just going to depend on how much they hold together as they try to get into this energy. They could really break apart before they reach this really good energy too. But it's just best to be aware into tomorrow morning for the chance of a strong storm as these showers and thunderstorms make their way through, but they will be shrinking in size throughout the morning. And that will likely be our last rain chance for a while, even through the Memorial Day weekend. We'll likely see showers and thunderstorms really extend farther off into the to the west of us by the weekend, but staying out of the wiregrass. Again, this is just the European model, many other models, keeping things pretty dry through Sunday and Monday, or late Monday. This is where we could see showers and thunderstorms really trying to extend into Alabama, scattered showers and thunderstorms likely making their way back in for Tuesday. And in terms of rainfall, we could likely see some pretty good amounts for areas of the southeast, especially central Alabama into Mississippi, also Louisiana. But for us, this model only putting out half an inch of rain. And so while we are above that soil moisture where we need to be, we'll see how well we fare as we get into the summer, where hopefully we'll get more convective showers, thunderstorms day to day. But that's it for Weather Extra tonight. David will be back tomorrow and we'll have weather in words. Until then, have a great night.